Hello, everybody. Ooh, I'm only coming in one side. 1 second. Let me fix the audio. I know I'm only coming in on one of the speakers. Say hello in the chat if you wish. All right, testing. Now I'm coming through both. All right, awesome. How's it going, Derek, Marco, Sing, Jazz, what is up? Techprology 619. Hello, happy Christmas to all the people who celebrate as such. All right. It's been a couple weeks since I've live streamed. Took a little bit of a break. Moved into the new place. All right. Gonna get started here in a second. Usually when I take a break from streaming, the subsequent stream always does better. But I will be probably streaming for the next, including this week, 5 weeks in a row. Because I have another sponsor for this stream. So not today, but next week. All right. All right, so let's go ahead and just get started here. So, of course, if you're new to this stream, I've been doing this for a long time. Basically, I review your UI UX designs, you submit them, click in the YouTube description to see where to submit, which is the Discord server, which is this application right here. Join up. You'll have to assign yourself a role in order to unlock all of these channels, and then go to the DeathSpace submissions, and you'll see people have already submitted below, and I'll get to them in the order that they come. You can send in a super chat to expedite the process, and you'll get thrust to the beginning of the line, assuming there's no other super chats awaiting. All right, very simple. All right, so let's get started. I haven't checked any of these out yet, so it's always a surprise to me. It's the first time seeing these, and let's see. So the first submission we have is from Chandu Lenka. All right, so what is happening here? Is this a joke? I think this is probably a work in progress. All right, I'm not even gonna, this is obviously unfinished, so I am not going to review that. This is only for finished products or projects that are almost finished. So sorry about that one. Although, what do you think in submitting that? What's going on here? All right. Here's one. Let's see. Projects. Welcome to my mini portfolio. So, one of the things that's it can be difficult, especially if you. I think most people these days are on like a 4K monitor, but you should always make sure that it works well and fills out well at all widths in resolution. I would say this seems a little bit not filled out quite enough. If anything, you definitely want to take this column and then this graphic and just center align it vertically, because there's a lot of empty space right here down at the bottom. Outside of that, I like the real simple type here for the logo. It just says projects, home technology projects. This is fine up here. Maybe push down the C projects button a little bit more from this type right here, because it seems a little bit, you want to separate it just a little bit more vertically. Let's come down and see what's happening here. This is all pretty solid here, in my opinion. This works. All right. All right, so simple enough. I don't think there's anything major occurring in terms of being wrong. It seems responsive. Again, you can really tell this time it's really, you should use Flexbox or Grid in CSS to try to get this center aligned based on the available viewport height. All right, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What do you think this person should get for a rating? Let me know in the chat. Definitely higher than a 1. Yeah, the bubbles, I mean, they're not much of a they're not too much of a distraction. So it's okay to me. For this rating, I'm going to go ahead and give this one a... Let's see, let me get my rating thing out here. We'll go with a 6.8 or so. It's not too bad. All right, thank you for that submission. Next up is, when you reviewed my design last time, you gave some pointers and I tried my best to solve those problems. If you can review it, I would really appreciate it, blah, blah, blah. There are 2 artboards. One is for mobile version. As last time you said you needed HTML version so you could show me what could be done. All right. Let's look at the old version first. All right, I remember this. Now let's look at the new version. All right. So... All right, so this is the new version. This is the old version. Not huge differences here. I mean, it looks very minor. Trying to see exactly what was changed. I'll be honest, I mean, one thing I don't really like about the new version is how in the old version, this P3 Ferrix is aligned with this column here. I'm not sure if I like this because this is right here, and then this is here, and then this one's kind of in between those 3. He said the type, font size. I mean, yeah, I know the type and font size are different. Okay, so we have the same issue with alignment here. Like, I like the alignment here, kind of, although I would use something different than 1, 2, 3, 4 for these like bullet points. But they're aligned up how they should be. But this one over here, I don't know about having them indented like that. It also makes me think too, like this part up here seems like it should probably be a little bit bolder to, or you can use color again to kind of like you did up here. You used color slightly in there to differentiate this area from this area. I do like the type here being smaller. I think that's an improvement. But I think this should be like a little bit bolder, or the color could be changed just a little bit. Not huge differences, obviously, but I think if you just align this over here like you did before, and then made this bolder, it would be better. We're not going to bother with the rating because we already rated it, and plus the changes weren't that big. All right, next up. All right, this is a website redesign for a digital marketing agency. All right, so this I assume is this is the actual redesign. Looks pretty solid to me. I'm not quite sure about this free action plan and the button and the gradient behind it. The gradient's almost going a little bit. The free action plan white text is almost kind of getting lost in it, but not quite. I mean, that's a very minor gripe. Everything else that I see here, though, looks pretty solid. I mean, this is pretty solid in my opinion. Nice alignment here. I like this nice kind of masonry grid approach. Yeah, this is all solid here from what I see. Nice. All right, we can give this a rating. 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What do you all think this person should get? It's not bad. For me, I'm going to give this, it's at least an 8 in my opinion. Yeah, let's go with a 8.3. I think that's pretty solid. Yep. Very nice. Okay. Next up is, I'm a design student. This is incomplete, but would love feedback. All right, let's get this sucker up. All right, first off, logo and this. That needs more room. You need to give that more white space, some room to breathe. If we look at, let's see here. If we look at this section, you have padding, 5 pixels and 20 pixels. Yeah, give that thing like around 2 M units on the top at least. And space these out a little bit more away from each other. That way, you know, you can really see them a lot better. This is what it looked like before, and it's just really cramped up there. Outside of that, I can see this looks like to be, well, almost a fluid design. The fixed container happens right about here. I would probably push that in a little bit more, just because this is a pretty long block of text to have to scan. What else here? I'm not sure about this graphic. There's no eyeballs. I don't know. Maybe that's the part that's unfinished. I don't know. The type, I'm not sure about the type. This sort of type right here, you have the headlines, and the learn more about me is and being underlined like that and quite bold at a smaller size kind of makes it a little bit tough to read. So I'm not too sure about that. I mean, what you could do to simplify this, let me see if I can make an adjustment here. We could take off the border bottom. We'll use that color though, and the color will go from black to that color. There we go. And then we'll do margin top. We'll do display block to make that work. Or it's not working. Why is that not working? Margin top. Oh, maybe I need to go more. There we go. So now we just have a nice simple call to action, and we don't have the unnecessary underline underneath it. So let's refresh to show what it looked like before. Yeah, that just adds that border, the big thick border adds a lot of unnecessary clutter in my opinion. Next up, contact info. This is sort of strange because it looks like this is a form. And I feel like I want to click in there like it's a text field, but it's not. That's a minor gripe. But yeah, let's see what it looks like responsively. So I'm not sure how small these would look on an actual phone, but it might be an issue. If so, you'd want to use like a menu icon of some sort. Another thing you can do to fix the type is give yourself a little bit more line height. Maybe like 1.7 M units right there. Yeah, like 2 M units. There we go. Like push that down and fix that link without the border. I think that would be better. All right, what do you think this person should get for our rating? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. It looks like I'm washed out. I need to fix my color here for a second. 1 second. Color adjust. There. I just gave myself some color. Let's see. We have 6s, 4s, 7, 4s, 6s. Yeah, for me, I'm going to put this probably just at a flat 6 or so. It's not horrible, but it's also, you know, it could definitely have some improvement in it. All right, next up. I'm a newbie in web design. This is my portfolio website. Thanks. Okay. A lot of portfolios. Okay. Let's refresh this because there was some animation. All right, so there's a number of issues here. First off, the navigation up here seems like an afterthought, the way it's placed, and there's hardly any white space around it. It's kind of just tucked up here in this black container thing, the photograph really. I would definitely, you know, again, it was the same issue as the previous one. We need to work on that. So if I do this, that's a little bit better. But again, this little DP right here with the logo being close to this part, I would probably want to rethink this part, really, just because I know you're trying to be unique, but at the same time, it's causing issue with this little container up here. I mean, just this will be instantly improved if I just delete that. Look how much better that is without it. I know you want to get the logo in there. So a way to refactor this is take this About Skills Experience Projects navbar, put it over to the right, and then over to the left, you can have your logo. There's also some visual hierarchy issues with the type right here. Let's see if we can possibly rework this. Font size 4 rem. Let's do 6 rem. Oh, not 76 rem. Ha! All right. Oh, wait. All right, font weight bold. I'd like to go even bolder on this. So it fills out the area a little bit more. But then the visual hierarchy issue is between these three elements. Now, page visits, this isn't 1997 anymore. Nobody cares about how many people visited your page, especially when it's so little. I mean, there's no reason to put your page, your hit counter as they were called, way back in the day. So the first thing I would do is just simply delete that line. Nobody cares about that. And then you have visual hierarchy issues between these two types. You have two different things. This is your title, full stack developer, and this is Deep Patel, located in Canada. So that's a sec, but they're both styled exactly the same. So, you know, you want to fix that, and that's a visual hierarchy issue. We can make the font weight bold, or I guess it's not working there. Let's do font size. All right, 1.7, maybe 1.9 em units. Margin, we're going to do, let's do 1 em here. And then, I mean, we can even go larger. I don't know why the font weight being bold is not working on that. Maybe it is. Maybe you need to include a bolder font for this, or a font weight rather. But this is a little bit better. I still don't like it. What are these things for? What are these 4 dots for? I don't understand that. So I would rework that spot. If I refresh this, that's what we were before. Let's scroll down. Oh wait, we can't scroll down. Skills. Now something's happening. Not sure I would do this just because the layout's real funky. We have this cool thing up here, but there's no alignment because the rest of this is just thrown off to the left side at the very bottom like an afterthought, and that's not good. I would take this stuff and put it like in line with this area down here. All right, so what do you guys think this person should get for a rating? 1 being the worst and 10 being the best. By the way, Derek, thanks for the super chat, but you need to put in your Discord username because I don't know who you are otherwise. I'm going to go with a 4.6 for this one. It seems like most of you agree with that anyhow. Keep on at it. Oh, by the way, I'm going to give a shameless plug here. DesignCourse.com. If you have not entered your email yet, do it, because in 2021 I'm releasing the most robust UI design, UI UX design, I guess you could say, service, where you learn through a ton of different ways, or I should say 4 or 5 different ways really, through video courses, individual video lessons, dynamic unique challenges, which are working on now, as well as user submitted projects where you're reviewed. Definitely check that out. Enter your email to be notified when that comes out. All right, so we had Derek. Now, Derek, did Derek say what his Discord username is? Oh, thanks a lot, bud. It was just a thanks, or a thank you. So yeah, thanks a lot. Here's another one. Let's check that one out before we get back to the regular submissions. All right. All right. Akai Amsterdam or something. Let's see. I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay. So this is an online shop of Brazilian organic superfruits. Okay. Why is this not the main headline? Why is your web address the headline? Don't want that. What you want, let's restructure this real quick, is this. So you take this out and we put in, there we go. Now we can get rid of that line. Online shop of Brazilian organic superfruits. Make that a little bit, if you're gonna have your hours underneath there, I would probably use something else in terms of content and type, or your copy. It would, I don't think, this is a very important part of your I guess you could say your website real estate, and so your subheadline can really be used for something more important than just your hours. But nonetheless, if you're gonna have something there, you want to make that a little bit larger. So like 2M units. I'm not, and plus these two fonts right here and here, I don't really think work very well together. This is way too cluttered, unfortunately. Like if you're gonna have a call to action, we'll do like a margin top of like 2M just to push it down a little bit more. And then this little graphic right here, it just feels like it's just a big old banner ad, the way it's just kind of slapped in the middle. Ideally, you could probably take something like this without any text in it and add it in as a full background that spans the whole section up here, and then this type will sit on top of it. So it's a photograph watermark sort of background, if that makes sense. So I would, for each one of these cards, I would reinforce the visual hierarchy more. So it looks like, unfortunately, you don't have these separated out into their own HTML elements, but you would want to do that. You don't want to include this title in the same paragraph as this, because also you would want to be able to style this to make it bolder and a little bit larger. That way you reinforce that visual hierarchy between the type. This section down here is actually pretty good. It's probably the best section of the design, the layout. This is done real well, in my opinion. All right, so 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What do you think this person deserves for a... I'm an idiot. I hate myself. This is what we were talking about. Let's just redo that real quickly. This right here is what we were just doing. This is the super chat. And that's my fault for not reading the damn chat. Okay, what I said was we need to, instead of having the website address as the headline, we should do that. And then we should also get rid of that. And then if you're going to have this sub-headline, just do a font size of like 2M units here. And then push down that call to action call to action button, not bottom, like by 2 M units. And then we reworked it a little bit, but like I said, these types, those two different typefaces don't go that well together. What is happening? Jesus Christ. Oh my God. This is what happens when I take like 2 weeks off of streaming. I screw everything all up. All right, now that's a better one. And it's funny because it's also a food website. How hilarious is that? I feel like I should refund that guy his super chat. Okay. The Natural Acai store. Remember Acai Berry? That was like a huge thing back in like 2010. A bunch of affiliate marketers made like millions of dollars. Anyhow, this is so much better than that other site. Way better. There we go. All right. So for this, like I suggested on the wrong website, it's actually using a watermark-based, photograph-based background, which is pretty solid the way that it's being used with most of the pictures. Health store, this thing back here, it's not too bad. It's enough of a watermark to where it's not, it's not coming through a lot and making it cluttered. So the opacity has been pushed out. So yeah, this is solid right here. I really like the type. This is working. It's a little bit hard to read in some of the photographs. Like this one is real good to read. This section, very solid. No issue here. Not bad either here. That's cool. I like that little underline there. Probably use a little bit more padding in this section here. So if I take this area and we have the padding right there, if I just put it like at 1 M unit, now that's better in my opinion. Has a lot more room to breathe inside. If I refresh, you'll see the original. Yeah, there's just not enough padding or white space, essentially. Everything else here, I might want to, again, this is nitpicky. Might want to do a margin top of, oh, it's moving everything down. We'd want to move this line down so that it starts right here in this section, because I think it looks a little bit weird at the top there. Yeah, very solid overall. More white space on top of all this stuff right here at the top. But other than that, this is solid. What does everybody think this person should get for a rating? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. Yeah, this is a solid submission in my opinion. So we're going to go ahead and rate this one at an 8 for sure. At least an 8. Sorry for screwing that up and wasting everybody's time. All right. Who is next? I don't think we had another super chat. Oh wait, we did. All right, here's another one. Let's hope I get this one right. I assume this is the one this is the last one. Actually, let me check my little interface right here and make sure that oh, no, there was one called, okay, Mr. Salami. Let's do that. All right, Portfolio right here. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. All right. Okay, so All right, let's refresh this, see if anything's happening. Just a very brief little loader that's happening here. I like the logo. I pretty much like the... Now for this, for the hover right here, I wouldn't make those black. I would make them very light gray, just slightly lighter than the background. Because I think it's a little bit too much of a difference when you're hovering. Outside of that, this is all solid at the top. Next up here, you have your name, which is fine. This is a really good ad copy right here. Smarter user experience, better business growth. Nice and bold. All right, so portfolio, work I have done. I'm not too sure I like having like these photographs and the the pictures of the actual UI designs in them. It just seems redundant looking at the same exact thing. So I would probably opt just to somehow, if you want to use perfect squares, just use Photoshop or something to get these actually in there and presented in a certain way, the actual UI designs alone. Portfolio, all right. Well, the type is a little bit strange here, just because I could see it says full stack web developer, which is some sort of like a little subheadline. It's only slightly larger than this type, and so that's throwing it off a little bit. So you can either just choose to get rid of that altogether, and now it's a little bit better, or if you're going to keep it, either you probably want to make it bold. So if we take this, we'll make that bold. Now that's better, and it stands out a little bit more. And so I think that's more ideal. Might want to have a tad bit more white space. So you have a margin bottom of 50 pixels. Let's do like 70 pixels. Maybe even 90. And then also a little bit more white space on top, just to push things down a tad bit. A little bit more white space between these elements right here. Push this stuff down away from this type. All right. Skills, what I know. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. Overall, pretty simple. Doing a lot of things right. Just some small things that need improvement. That's it. So 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What do you think this person should get for a rating? Yeah, I think I'm going to have to go with for this one, this is just a flat out, in my opinion, 7. Yeah. Pretty solid. Don't spam. Don't spam. Like, if you have an answer, whoever your name is, just say it once. It's not going to influence my decision. Alrighty. Now, who's up next? Oh, I know we had another one. So next up is a real alien. All right. RealAlien.com. I'm gonna load it on my other monitor. It's having a hard time load, but I try to, if I can remember to do it, I load websites off the other monitor just in case someone tries to troll me or something and something gets shown that shouldn't be live. Unfortunately, it's not loading. You see, if you go to RealAlien.com, nothing's working. Maybe I'll try to come back to it later. It's fortunate because it was a super chat, so that sucks. All right. Sam loves coding, Discord. That's the next super chat we're going to do. I know, we're getting to it. Let's do this one. SamLovesCoding.com. All right. All right, so I like the background image. This is a type of, background that's done well for a big, thick type, that's going to be sitting on top of it. There's no issues with reading this. Scrolling down here, we can see there's some animation, scroll activated animation. These links here, I would say, yeah, they need more work. What I would do, like, I can see there's like sort of like, they're actually animating these little blobs behind them. Make them bigger so that they consume more of the icons in the center of them. Because it's kind of just strange the way they are now. So make those bigger. Not the whole icon itself. They're already pretty large, the icons, but I'm talking about the blobs. All right. So I don't know what this is. 32, 31, 30, 29, 28. I assume this is coming from a blog. Well, it's obviously not completed. Hey, we're going to put you in a timeout. Don't spam your submission. If you want me to look at your design, just go to the Discord server and put it in once. Thank you. All right. Kind of a lot of empty space right here. And of course, this is unfinished, so, not really much for me to... Okay, now that's strange. I'm not sure if I like that pattern there. We have this hamburger menu which just toggles on and off the Behance links. I don't agree with that at all. I would just honestly, I would take these, make them a lot smaller, and just kind of put them up here in the right if you want to have some sort of social link based navigation, or just leave them where they are and remove that because you don't need that. That's unnecessary. All right, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What do you all think this person should get? It's not really finished, so I don't really want to give it like a high score. So I'm just going to go with a flat out 6. All right. Next up is another super chat. Big DT. Well, Big DT did not mention his Discord username. So there's no user called Big DT. So Big DT, let me know what your Discord username is because I won't be able to get to it. All right. Sing, whatever your name is. Why are you trying to? It's DT. Okay, here we go. Wait 1 second. DT from user DT. All right, there we go. If you have a chance, please review my website design. This is a website design for RevivalPedia, an Indonesian esports pedia where users can read information about. Okay. All right, why did I refresh that? Let's expand this. All right, logo's pretty solid here. Mobile Legends. This search box, that needs to be, you need to be able to see that more. Everything's really washed out. Guarantee you, even, placeholder text needs to be readable as well. So this would definitely not pass the WCAG color contrast ratings. This section in here is pretty solid with the background being tinted like this. This all looks pretty decent to me. Nothing standing out as being really negative. Not too sure about having 2 different lists. Well, I mean, I guess you could do that. A lot of borders here, but I don't have a huge problem with it. I mean, it may look better ultimately without the borders, but there's less contrast. There's not a lot of contrast. They're not black or anything. If they were black, it would be horrible. But so in this context, the way you're using them, it's not too bad. I would probably bold the term, like the nickname. That way you don't have 3 columns of text that look exactly the same. But yeah, this is all pretty solid from what I see. 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What do you think this person should get for a rating of their Adobe XD prototype? Yeah, this one's pretty solid. I'm going to give it like a 7.4, 7.5 or so. Yeah. All right. Next up, I think that was almost a lad. Oh, nope. There's one more that came through. All right. And we have some type of, we'll reload this from scratch. All right, refresh this. All right. I'm not sure why this isn't going full screen, this background. It's a movie-based background. That's sort of strange. But yeah, this obviously should be going out full screen in my opinion. Let's see. So you have 2 different bits of text right here, but the only difference between them is just the color. This one's like slightly like a bluish color. So you want to like make this smaller or make this one larger to reinforce that typography-based visual hierarchy. There's no call to action outside just from this area up here. So if you want people to scroll down, although you can't, so there's no scrolling, I would give them a direction, a button, a call to action, somewhere that they can go to. So let's check out projects. That's interesting. You can't scroll, but it seems like it's all on the same page. Interesting. These cards need a lot of work. You're encasing them in a white border, which in my opinion is unnecessary. Get rid of that, so we don't need that border there. And then the 2 buttons right here, that they could definitely be improved. I can't restructure them here, but I would look up ideas for card design. Like just go to a site like Dribbble.com, type in card design or something. And I don't mean those type of cards like business cards. I mean like these type of cards down here. And try to get an idea of an alternative way to lay these out, because this is just looks amateur. It's a little bit more old school. So with that said, yeah, there's issues with your type too, like the about me, like this let me tell you a few things. This looks like a placeholder text of an input field, the way this is designed right here. You can barely even read it as well, and then you can barely even read this. So I try to rethink, try to go back to the basics. Until DesignCourse.com is ready, you can take my Scrimba.com UI design bootcamp that I've created right here. All right. Oh, this is the free one, but I actually have a whole UI. There it is. It's 8 hours worth. Over 3,000 students. I don't know why it says with null. Probably should say Gary Simon, I would assume. And it's going to teach you UI design all from scratch, and all while using Scrimba's awesome platform. All right, what do you guys think this person should get for a rating? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. Also, the last super chat that came in, Rodrigo Oroca, you need to mention your Discord username. You didn't do that. This one, I'm going to go ahead and give a 4.5. Yeah. All right. we got 2 more super chats that just came in. Like, how can I find this name? Hopefully, I don't understand. Like, am I supposed to be able to copy those special characters? That's what happens when you have these weird usernames. Now I'm going to have to go through and try to find it. Because I don't know how to like search for that with those special characters. Right here, there it is. All right, glad I found it. Thank you for the super chat. Next up, unfortunately, the Google Translate option is not showing up. All right, so I'm not even sure what is happening here, I'll be honest with you. Waterproofing and repair. All right, so why is this tucked all the way over here on the left? That should be like right here, big text with your call to action where it says see more. So this thing needs to be over here, away from this large element right here, because it just, you wouldn't be able to see the type enough. But waterproofing repair should be like over here in this blank empty area. For sure. All right, so this is laid out a little bit better. A little bit blocky, just with like a big photograph just placed right here. Type is better than what we had on the other one. See, the alignment here is off. So you have, everything centers up here, but then all of a sudden on this sub-navigation, it's just placed over on the left. It's like thrown over there. It throws off the flow that you have established with everything being centered up here, and then this off so this should be centered right here in this blue section. More white space in here. Move this away from this bar a little bit more. I would make these bolder. They seem pretty small. All right, what do you think this person should get for a rating for their UI design? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. Also, no more super chats. We're done with the super chats. Don't send another super chat. Just because we're going to be done soon, and I know how we have a limited time. So for this, I'm going to go with a 5 or 5.2 maybe, something like that. All right, next up, DeathSpace. I'm going to refresh this because there's some animation. All right, DeathSpace. Dun, 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 dun. All right, so I guess I just click on that. I didn't know I was supposed to click on it. Wait, what is happening? All right, so that's a usability issue. It just says DeathSpace, and I don't know what to do. Then I realized there's a little animated down arrow indicating that we should scroll down. That should be up higher, and it should, take our attention immediately. Let's readjust this type a little bit. First, I want to change the color to white. I guess it has opacity on it somewhere or something. Oh, there it is. Well, geez, what is happening? Why can't I get this stuff white? Oh, there we go. See how that just sticks out so much better? Then what I'll do is take this type. We'll leave the opacity on that one. We're going to margin top it. And then we are also going to line space it, or line height. All right, that's a little bit better. So now, so we went from, okay, this is my changes. Now, if we refresh, we'll see there's definite improvement in my opinion. Yeah, for sure. So those are the changes I would make with that. Make the same changes right here. Look inside. I would leave it like this, the hover version. Make that the default. I think that would be a lot better. Then we have some issues with alignment here. We have this thing centered up here, so we have a column defined here. Then way off to the left, we have this column, but then over here we have another column. So we have 1, 2, 3, and then 4 down here. So there's no semblance of structure in your layout. So I would take all these sections and left them, align them right where this one starts at work. And there's no actual floating labels or labels here, which is a usability, accessibility thing. So I would adjust that. 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What do you think this person should get for a rating? Also, just a reminder, no more super chats. Yeah, for B, I mean, I'm going to go ahead and rate this one like a, yeah, like just a flat out 6. Oops, that one got kind of messed up. Okay. Next up is the final super chat. And if anybody sends another super chat after this point, you're not getting reviewed. Sorry about that. All right, so it's 78market.com. All right, let's refresh. All right, so I don't think there's any animation occurring, although it's loading quite slow. All right. I feel like if you take this column and put it on the left and you reverse those, it would be a little bit better, in my opinion. Also, the red type, I'm not sure if that's a good choice. Red is usually indicative of like warning or, you know, danger or something, especially when it's red type. So I might change the approach that you have on this. I would make this bolder too if you're going to use this type here. Like if you can find a thicker font weight, that would be best in this section. Also a little bit of alignment issues. You know, this one's, you know, these two are all on a perfect right here, but then this is pushed in a tad bit. So it's throwing off the layout a little bit. The small things like that do make a big difference. Issues here too with the type, like apparel, footwear, cosmetics, accessories. These are all, that should be, I don't like how it's styled exactly the same type as this line above it. So whenever you have this type of, you know, like headlines and stuff, they should be styled differently from each other in a way that works well as well. Like this section, like these cards, having that outer gray glow, the box shadow, remove that big time. See how much better and cleaner they look without those hideous box shadows? Like a million times better. I also might want to use like a different color slightly. Maybe like that. That way they don't stick out so much. Make them all this color. All right. 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What do you all think this person should get? Yeah, for me, I'm going to go ahead with this one with a 5.8, 5.9 or so. Seems like you guys are saying a little bit higher. Thank you for the super chats, though. I will do one more from wherever I left off, which honestly I have no freaking clue where that was. Geez, we got so many. I have no clue where the last one was. All right, so I got to... I think we did Lauren, didn't we? Yep. We did that one. Sorry, I'm looking on my other monitor. Portfolio design. This is a previous design. I don't think I did this one. All right, so let's do this one. Here's the previous design, and I remember looking at it. So let's take a look at this thing full size. Hi, I'm Krish, blah, blah, blah. I gave this like a really low score. And then here's the redesign. All right, so is this an improvement from this? Yeah, definitely. It's definitely an improvement. Probably think about maybe a better illustration over here of some sort, but this is definitely an improvement from what this is, for sure. So like if that was a 3.5, then, you know, just looking at the little bit that we have to look at here, you know, this could be like, you know, a 5.5 or a 6 or something like that. Rodrigo said, don't forget me. Well, where is... Rodrigo, where is what's your Discord username? Because if you already said it, I probably didn't see it in the chat. So let me know right now. Somebody said they want to see my Discord, my guitar skills. I mean, I'm okay. If you go to YouTube and you type in Gary Simon, you can see some videos that I've posted. I haven't posted in 7 months, unfortunately, on my other channel, but you can see some things that I've some songs, like of course, you know, the Hello World that I have as my channel trailer, but also some other ones that I've created and some covers that I've done and some lesson videos and stuff like that. All right, here's his. This is going to be the last one we rate. All right. Looks like a pretty solid one already. Got a custom cursor, and this red thing won't get away. Look, it's chasing me. There we go. It found me. Scroll for more. All right. Software developer and want to be UI UX designer. All right. Oh, this is nice. Curious how that effect was occurred with the outline. That's pretty cool. Probably definitely one of the best entries. It's very simple. I might want to have a tad bit more alignment here, like between this element, this line, and then moving this I was born right here in line with that on the same column. But nonetheless, this is pretty solid. Huh, look at that. Very cool. Again, skills, like there's a strange alignment occurring here. I'm not sure why it would be right aligned in this section. I would think about another way of doing that. But nonetheless, it's very solid. 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What does everybody think this person should get? All right, so that's I'm gonna give this one an 8.5. Yeah. All right, very solid. All right, so that is it. That is it for our show today. Yeah, I've been busy. I'll go ahead and give a little bit of an update. So yeah, we moved into our new place, and we have tons of boxes still, and most of them are all put out into a sunroom. Oh shit! There we are. There I am. I'm back. Yeah, and I'm basically. We have to get ready and get those boxes taken care of. We just got the money from the sale of our other house, so we had a little bit of equity in that. And I have this massive project that I'm going to share it with you guys. It has nothing to do with Design and Code. Of course, I do have a massive project with Design and Code with the relaunch of DesignCourse.com, which is almost done being developed, by the way. And that's been several months in the making because it's a custom, 100% custom platform. I'm not using any of like the course hosting platforms that you see out there that a lot of other people use. For what I wanted to do, I needed to create something that was, you know, just custom. But what I'm talking about, this other project, some of you know that I have, I'm into snakes and reptiles. Let me show you a picture here, if I can find one on my computer. I'll show you a picture of my Burmese python. Let me see here. If I go to, I usually post them on Facebook just because people freak out. I think it's funny. Like when my daughter holds, my 8-year-old daughter and my 11-year-old daughter holds our snakes. Oh, darn. I don't have a recent one, but the snake has become bigger than what you see here. So yeah, the snake right now, I think in this picture is like 3 feet, but it's 4 feet now. And this is a Burmese python, which can get up to like 18, 19, 20 feet. Most of them don't. Some of them do. But I'm building in my basement a massive enclosure. And it's going to be for a reticulated python. And a reticulated python is the world's longest snake species. They can get up to like 3 feet or something. You know, most of them don't get beyond like 20, 21, 22 feet or so. But I'm building, I have some pictures of it too, an enclosure in my basement. Here's a picture of what I have built so far. So it's going to be like this enclosure that spans almost all the way from this wall to that wall. It's going to be 15 feet long by 7 feet total high, and then it's coming out from the wall 6.5 feet. And yeah, I'm very excited. It's very expensive too. All the wood, the glass alone is going to be like $1,300. I have a rock wall background coming in about 3 to 4 weeks, made from a company who supplies zoos, and that rock wall background is freaking $2,500. I kid you not. It is going to look so freaking awesome. Let me show you the rock wall background. Look at this. Doesn't that look 100% real? But it's actually very thin, and you can it folds up, and so it's real light. But it's a real cast of an actual rock wall. It's crazy. It's going to have a water feature in it. Let me show you the schematic. Let me get SketchUp out. I love SketchUp. So SketchUp is an application that builders use. And of course, me just wasting money, I bought the pro version for $300. But SketchUp allows you to build out schematics of like buildings and stuff like that, and people actually use it to like for house buildings and stuff and schematics. This is just part of what it looks like. I'm not 100% finished. If I go to View, Hidden Objects, so I can start showing like the glass and stuff. It's going to be nuts. I cannot wait. And so I'm going to be getting a reticulated python for this enclosure. So let me show you what reticulated pythons look like. So reticulated pythons for sale. Yes, you can buy the world's largest snake species online at a site called morphmarket.com, and they sell so many different, you can buy anacondas there as well. I was going to get an anaconda, but then I realized anacondas have a lot of requirements, like water. Like they love being in water, so you have to have a huge pool of water that you have to test all the time. It's a lot of maintenance, too much work for me to want to deal with it all the time. But reticulated pythons they come in so many different, what are called morphs, which just really means the patterns, like what are the colors, what do the patterns look like. And so you can buy these things online, and you can see babies, like juveniles, are like $450. So you can buy the world's largest snake species for that, little. And these aren't venomous, these are constrictors. So if I get bit, it's not a big deal, unless of course if something's 20 feet long and that big of a head is biting you, it can really jack you up. So you got to be careful still. But nonetheless, yeah, that's kind of what I've been really focusing on is that build. I'm learning how to build stuff. I am not a builder. I'm a coder. It's like the antithesis of all things. Anyhow, I've been spending a lot of money on like all the tools. I have a miter saw. I have a table saw. I have a circular saw. I have a router. I have a router table. I have a router plunger. I have all the drills. I have the freaking impact drills. It's just nuts. I'm learning a lot, and it's just really fun. Yeah, my biceps have, I haven't really been in the gym as much, so I'm still going to the gym, but I haven't been focused as I was before. Gary, what is the link to your Discord channel? It's in the YouTube description of like every single video that I have, so you can find that there. Yeah, my wife, she holds the snakes. She has no problem with holding them. She's not adverse to that type of stuff at all. All right, so that's enough of me going on about my little hobbies. So yeah, I'm going to see you guys soon. I will be streaming, like I said, for the next 4 weeks in a row after this week, because I have a sponsor who's paying for those spots for me to mention them. I think it's Top Level Design. And yeah, I will see you all real